I'm average height. Well, I used to be. I used to be average height when I was in my 30s. Yeah, that's it.
How were the babies?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. On this penultimate day of the Julian year. No, you can keep talking. No. Nobody pays attention to me anyway.
Recorded on YouTube for posterity or whatever they call it.
I'm going to ask that this particular service be deleted.
Page 140. Same page every week.
Same words.
All right, sing along, but keep up. Ma tohu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tohu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. V'ani berov chastecha avovetecha. Eshtaka el hekol kodshecha b'hiratecha. Adonai ahavti mi'on beitecha, u'mekol mishkan kevodecha, v'ani eshtaka v'yekra'aha, evrei lifnei Adonai osi, v'ani tefilati lecha, Adonai et ratzon. Elohim berov chastecha aneheni be'emet yishecha. Middle of page 144. Elohai nishaman mi'atabi. Kozman sh'hanishama beker bimo de'ani lefanecha Adonai Elohai v'Elohei avatai v'abon kol ha'ma'asim adon kol nishamot barakata Adonai ha'machazir nishkamot lifkedri metim. All rise, morning blessings, 146. Barakata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sekvi v'nalakavim ben yom v'ben layla. Barakata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shasani bitzamo, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shasanu b'nei chorim. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shasani Yisrael. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Pokeach Ivrim. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Malbish Arumim. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Matir Asurim. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Zokev Kefufim. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Roka haaretz al hamayim. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, She'asa likol zarki. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher echin b'tzadigav her. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Oze Israel b'gvura, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Otei Israel b'tifara. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hanotein layav koach. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Ha'ma'aveh shenai me'einainu ma'am yafapai. May all be seated. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu. Kutanenu chayim uv'kolenu kein chesed rachamim ve'enecha uve'nei kol ra'enu v'tikmalenu chasadim tovim. Baruch Adonai gomel chasadim tovim li'amo Yisrael. We have Minyan. We are with Minyan this morning. Ah, cool. Continuing 252. All right, 152. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'tzatav v'tzionu la'asok b'divrei Torah v'rein Adonai Eloheinu v'Beit Yisrael. Shalamaha, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu, Torah Lemo Yisrael, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah. Kibbutz Torah. We are now 1 week into the month of Tevet. The month started with the conclusion of Chanukah. If you're a Lubavitch Chassid, you also celebrated on the 5 Tevet the 1987 legal verdict concerning the inheritance claim on the books of Rabbi Schneerson. Next Tuesday morning, the 10th of Tevet, starts the fast of Asarab or B'Tevet, marking the beginning of the siege of Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar of Babylonia. It ended 18 months later with the destruction of Jerusalem and the first temple. Starting tomorrow, you'll have to learn to stop writing 2022. In today's Parsha, Vayigash, we see the first instance of the phrase, trust but verify. Joseph has set a trap for his brothers to see how they will respond. Fortunately for Jewish history, the brothers passed the test. The Haftorah from Ezekiel speaks of the division between the southern kingdom of Judea and the northern kingdom of Ephraim. When Jews are not under attack from without, they tend to fight each other within, sometimes both. God tells Ezekiel that a day will come for unification. Current Israeli politics notwithstanding, let us hope so. Continuing Kaddish de Rabbanan, 154, Mourners Kaddish. Mourners will please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ba'oma dibra kirutei v'yamlich malkutei. V'chayeichon u'biyomeichon u'v'chayei kol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lemei almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha, brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru, amen. Al Yisrael v'al Rabbanan v'al Tamidehon, v'al kol Tamidehon, v'al kol mandios kin v'oraita, di v'atra hadain v'di v'kol atar v'atar. Yehi lechon u'lechon shlam araba china v'chista v'rachamin v'chayin orrikin umson nervikeim forchanam ikedam v'hond v'shamaya v'yadra v'imru amen. Yehi shlam araba min shmaya v'chayim tovim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom v'imrumav hu barakamav yasei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Psalm for Shabbat, 168. Tov l'hodot Adonai le'mer le'deka elyon. Adonai ki ha'nevas. God has nigh. Sadik atah yifrak ke'eret bavanun yizkeh shetulim b'veit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrihu o yenuvum b'seva Tishenim v'ra'anim yihu lehagid ki yashar Adonai zori v'lo avlatabo. All rise, Sukkot Zimra 180. Baruch Shamar v'chaya ha'olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Ozer Bereshit, Baruch Omer v'Yoseh, Baruch Ozer u'mechayim, Baruch Merachem al ha'aretz, Baruch Merachem al ha'briot, Baruch Mishalem Sakar Tov Livreha, Baruch Elad v'chayam lanetzach, Baruch Bodeh Umatzil, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam ha'el ha'av rachaman hamulal b'viyah hamo mishubach u'mefohar mishubach u'mefohar Elshon hasidah v'havadav Shirei David Avdecha Melech Adonai Eloheinu Bishvachot u'vizmihirot Bishvachot u'vizmihirot Negadelcha Mishabercha u'nfahercha V'nazkener Simcha V'namlechecha Mahalkeinu Eloheinu Yachid Kei ha'olamim Melech Mishubach u'mefohar Hadei ha'shemo hagadol Baruch Ata Adonai Melech mehulal b'tishbachot. We're all seated, continuing 190 Ashrei with Gabbai Fran.
Ashrei yoshbei beitecha, oyelelucha selah. Tehillah leDavid, Aramim ha'Elohai ha'melech, v'rav bracha shimcha le'olam va'ed. Gadol Adonai u'halal me'od, v'liloto ein cheker. Adar kavod ho'hodecha, v'nifar lo techa asicha. Zecher rav tuvcha yabiyu, v'sitecha yiranenu. Tov Adonai va'akol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav. Kavod malchucha yomeru, u'v'rachcha yedaberu. Malchucha malchuko olamim, v'mamshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador. Enecha lecha yesaberu, v'ata noten lechem et lam b'ito. Tzadik Adonai b'chol derachav, v'chasi b'chol ma'asav. Ritzon re'av ya'aseh, v'et shavatam yishma v'yoshi'em. Tehillat Adonai yedaber pi, v'orech kabasar shem kodsho le'olam va'ed. V'anachnu nevarech yah, v'ne'etav yad olam. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 194. Kol neshama hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, bekocho, hallelujah, berkiyahuzo, hallelujah, beriborota, hallelujah, kedrov gudlo, kol neshama hallelujah, hallelujah, kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, beteka zopa, hallelujah, benivel vechinor, hallelujah, betofu malko, hallelujah, mirnim vehugav, kol neshama hallelujah, hallelujah, kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'tzil tzalei shama, hallelujah, b'tzil tzalei truah, kol neshama hallelujah, hallelujah, kol neshama hallelujah, hallelujah, kol kol neshama tehallel hallelujah. Following page 196. Nishmat kol kai devrekachim Adonai Eloheinu eruko basarhim tamid ta'el shua podel matzil in lana melech hala'at tamid melach mishmelach mirakla ha'kael gadol ha'gibor ve'anora el elyon konei samayim v'ha'ha'aretz nehalel kol sheberkaka u'verka v'vorek et shem kochecha kamor ledavid barki nafshi et Adonai bechol kerovahai et shem kocho. Welcome, Brookia. Welcome, Eric, to the Bima. Vayigash, sink or swim time, baby.
This is titled My First Imperfect Shacharit. And I'll count on all you to keep me in the straight and narrow and get me through the tough times. And thankfully I have Mike for a couple.
Eggs at the ready.
Shoken ad marom v'kadosh shemo v'katu rananu tzadikim baranoi la yesharim navati la b'fi yesharim titala uvdivrei tzadikim titbarach uvilshon chasidim titromam uvkerev kadoshim tikadash Umakala, Revavot, Amkape Yisrael, Barina, Passion Tropical. Shiro Vitish Bacha, David Ben Yishai, Abdecha Meshichecha, Yishtabak Shimcha, La'ad Makenu, Shir Ushvacha Halel Vizimra O Sumem Shala Netzach Gedula Ugvura Tehila V'Tiferet Kedusha U'Malchut Barachot V'Hoda'o Me'ata V'Ad Olam Baruch Ata Adonai El Melech Gadol Batishbachot El HaHodaot Adonai Niflaot HaBoker B'Shirei Zimra Melech Elchei HaOlamim 220 Hatzikadish Yikadal V'Yikadash Shemei Rabbah V'amla divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bagala uv'izman korim v'meru amen Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach Le'olam olam amaya Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalam Shemei dekudisha brechu Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiram v'alagam v'meru amen 224 Baruchu et Adonai hamvorach Baruch Adonai hamvorach li'olam va'ed Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or uberech hoshech Oseh shalom uberech et hakol. Continuing to 26. You may be seated. Ein karechacha Adonai Eloheinu ba'olam hazeh V'ein zulatecha malkeinu l'chayei ha'olam haba Efes biltecha go aleinu limud hamashiach Ein domeh lecha moshienu lithiat hametim Elodon Eladon akol hamasim baruch baruch b'fi kol neshama galo v'tuvo male olam da'at udvuna savev imoto hamikael chayot hakodesh nedar b'chavod al merchava Zechut umishor lifnei chiso Chesed v'rachamim lifnei kevodo Tovim me'orov Shebara Eloheinu Yitzaram b'da'at B'vina uv'haskel Koach ugvura Natan ba'em Li'ot moshim B'kerev tevel Malain ziv umfikim noga na eziv amechol ha'olam Semechim v'tzeitam v'sasim b'voam Osim b'yem arizon konam Pierre v'chavod notnim lishma Tzala v'rina lezecher machuta Kara la shemesh vayizrach or Vahikin zurat havanan Shevat nonim la kol tzava maram Tiferet ugdula sirafim v'ofanim Bechayot hakodesh. Our special guest for the next two prayers.
And he walked in and he said, special guest.
Around 2:30. Leila Shir Shabbat Mikol Amasi Bayom Hashvi. Yitbarach Mosheinu al shavach ma'aseh yadecha v'ama'orei or shasita yifarucha Selah. 2:34. Yitbarach Zerina Lakeinu v'kameinu v'ayim. V'chulam potchim et pihem b'kedusha u'v'tohara b'shira u'v'zimra u'mvarchim u'm'shabachim u'm'farim u'm'aritzim u'magdishim u'mamlichim et shem ha'el melech ha'gam. Lahagdish lirot from benachat ruach besafav ruach uvnima kedusha kulam kechad onim v'omrim b'yira Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Meloch Kol Haaretz Kivodo. Va'ofanim v'chayot HaKodesh, Barash Gadol, Mitnasim Lumat Serafim, Lumat Tamesh Shabachim ve'omrim, Baruch Kivod Adonai, Mim Komo.
236, Liel Baruch Nimagi Tenu Lamelech Achai L'Kayam Zimir. Or Kadash Al Tzion Ta'ir, Or Kadash Al Tzion Ta'ir, Or Kadash Al Tzion Ta'ir, Or Kadash Al Tzion Ta'ir. Ben Iske Kulanu Me'era Le'ora. Ben Iske Kulanu Me'era Le'ora. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. Preparing for the Shema, Ahava Rabbah, 238. Ahava Rabbah Tanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem Lagedola V'Tera Chamalta Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Bavor Avotenu Shabbat Kuvecha Avinu Malkeinu Vatlam Dem Chukei Chaim Kain Tekanenu Tamdenu Avinu Avarachaman Amrachem Rachem Aleinu V'teim B'libeinu Lehavim Ulhaskil Lishmoa Lilmodu Lilamim Lishmor Velasot Ukayim Ekol Divrei Talmud Torah Techa B'Yahava V'hainenu B'Torah Techa V'dabek Libeinu B'mitzvotecha V'yached Levaveinu Li'ahava U'yira Et Shemecha V'lo nevosh Le'olam va'ed V'lo nevosh Le'olam va'ed Ki v'shem kachdecha Hagadol v'hanora Hagadol v'hanora bataknu Nagila v'nismecha Nagila v'nismecha V'shuatecha. Find the four corners for your seat. $240. Lahavienu l'shalom me'arba kamfa haaretz v'tolichenu kamimiut li'artzeinu Ke'el Poel Yeshuata Uvan Uvakorta Miko Avilashon Vikeravtanu Lishim Gadol Selah B'emet V'hodot Lecha Oyachedcha B'yava Baruch Atah Adonai Habocher Ba'amo Yisrael B'yahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu havarim ha'ele Sher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Alevavecha Vishinatam Levanecha Vidibarta Bam Vishiptecha Bevetecha Uvlektecha Vaderech Ushatecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam liot ayadecha v'hayu letotafo beinenecha uktavtam u'mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha. Continuing silently, 244 v'hayam shama. Hashemayim al haaretz. Continuing 246. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yomar ta'alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei v'dehem l'doratam v'natnu al tzitzit hakana v'til techelet v'haya lachem l'tzitzit uritem oto uskortem ekol mitzvot Adonai nasitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkuru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'yitem gedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher tzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Continuing 248. Ledor Bador Hu Kayam Ushmo Kayam Vikiso Nachon Makuto V'emunato La'ad Kayam. Ein Elohim Zulatecha. 250. Ezra. Continuing 252. Yom Baruch Baruch Moshe Bnei Yisrael L'chanu Shira B'Simcha Rabba V'Yamru Chulam Mi Kamocha B'Elim Adonai Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh Norati Lo Dosei Feleh Shira Chadasha Shibechu Gulim B'Shimcha Tzvad Hayam Yachad Kulam Hoduvim Lechu V'Yamru Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Ba'ed Tzor Yisrael Kuma B'Yisrat Yisrael Uvnei Knumecha Yehuda B'Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shema Kadosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Continuing, Shachrit Amida for Shabbat, page 255. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zoker Chasdei Avot, Umevi Goel Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Abraham V'Yisrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai V'chayei Metim Atah Rav L'Hoshua Ma'ashiva Ruach U'Morin HaGashem Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei Metim B'Rachamim Rabim Somek Noflim V'Rofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayei Emunata L'Shenei Afar Mikamocha Ba'al Gevurah Umito Melech Melech Memi Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata L'Hachayot Metim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaye HaMetim Kedusha 256. Nikadesh et Shimcha Ba'olam V'shem Shemati Shim Oto Bishmei Marom Kakatu Ayad Nevi'echa V'kara Ze'el Zevi'ar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzivah Melech Haaretz Kedosh Atzbekol Rosh Gadol Adir V'chazah Mashmim Kol Nasim Liumatzirafim Liumatam Baruch Omeru Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkom Malkeinu Tofiyah V'tim Lo Aleinu Ki Mechakim Nula Matai V'tion B'karo B'yameinu Le'olam Va'et Tishkon Tikadal V'tikadash B'tok Yerushalayim Ircha Ledor Vador Unetzak B'tzakim V'einenu Tirena Malchutecha Kadavar Hamur B'shirei Uzecha O Yedei David Mashiach Tzidkecha Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Tzion V'dor V'dor Hallelujah V'dor V'dor Nagigalecha Unetzak Netzakim Kedushatecha Nakdish V'shivkacha Eloheinu Mipinu Lo Yamush Le'olam Va'ed Kel Mel Gadol V'kadosh Ata Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Continuing silently, 258. Bottom of page 266. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Page 268, Kaddish Shalom. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah V'yam la divrach yiruteh, v'yam lik machuteh, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olam me'elmaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar, v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah brichu le'elam min kol birchat v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram v'yalma v'imeru. Amen. Titgabel sloton uvauton d'chol Yisrael kadam avuhon d'vishmaya v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Ose shalom b'romav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Brook to you. Only got some oxygen.
That's all half towards and he's nervous with us.
Waiting for it. Who's doing Torah studies? No, Kat's doing it. Excellent.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, v'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malachut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim etiva virtzoncha et Zion. Tivnechamot Yerushalayim, Kihamot Yerushalayim, Kivecha levad bataknu, Melech el Ram v'nisa, Adon olamim.
You have to be very loud so the people at home can hear you.
V'yanu Bashamayim Bashamayim
You have the third lead. Yes. Yes, you want it? So let's take a vote. Which was bigger, the Torah or Arlene?
I was impressed.
Okay, so I gather since it's so quiet, this must be my time. So let me just tell you that my previous congregation, it was the custom that the president sat next to the rabbi on the pulpit. So I was treated to seeing him reach in his jacket pocket every Shabbos and pull out a small little piece of paper. And it had the name of the synagogue and the date, because he repeated his Divrei Torah periodically, and he was okay because nobody was from the same synagogue. Then his successor, his wife typed all of his sermons and put them in a notebook. And he sat there during the course of the service and picked out a favorite. So sometimes we heard the same one twice in 1 month. So it's a daunting task, I would imagine, for a rabbi to constantly have to come up with something to teach. And a lot of times we do get the same story over and over. This is one of those stories that rabbis love to talk about. We're talking about Joseph reuniting with his brothers. There's so much in there, but I think I saw something different when I looked at it this time. So what I want to start out with, since we're all friends and we all know each other, a question. And you know, you don't have to answer, but just think about this. Did you ever cry? Is there anybody who's never cried? I think it's pretty common. We've all had tears at one time or another. So the question is, why do we cry? If you cried and you want to share, why did you cry? What made those tears happen? Could be happy, could be sad.
Big emotion.
Say that again?
Big emotion.
Big emotion, okay. Anything else, anybody? Okay. Jan?
Standing at the Vietnam Memorial.
Okay. So that would be emotional, right? Sure.
I used to tell the teachers that studied under me, the student teachers, don't cry in the classroom. And there were times when we really wanted to.
Where you wanted to cry looking at them, or they wanted to cry?
But I wanted to cry.
Oh, okay. Do we have cultural norms that go with crying? Well, Sherry's got the yes with the head and everything, so.
Yeah,
Well, that was one of them, right? You don't want somebody to see you cry.
and also, you know, when I was called into a principal, you know, you just don't cry in front of your bosses. If you're a woman, I don't know.
Others want to share anything? Shelley? Oh, I didn't hear him, so. Boys don't cry. How many of you have older brothers? Yeah, did your brother ever tell you what my brother always said? Oh, don't be a wimp and cry like a baby.
He what?
Don't be a wimp and don't cry like a baby. My brother always told me that. That was my growing up advice. So I'll tell you that years later I grew up and some of you know, I worked in the nursery in the hospital. And believe me, you're going to laugh at this, but every nursery, there was a time when 1-day-olds were in one nursery and 2-day-olds were in another nursery. They didn't believe in mixing the ages of babies in the nursery. There was always a third room in the nursery. It was called the bad boy room. The kid who wouldn't sleep and wouldn't shut up ended up in the bad boy room. Okay, so I think pretty much that big cultural norm for us is that girls are the criers and guys are not. Okay, so what do tears do for us? You know, some of them come on spontaneously and uncontrollably, but what does that do for us?
Gives you a release.
Okay. Relief is one good word. Any other words? Oh, I'm not broadcasting. When you're shorter than everybody else, I forget the microphone. You're right. Okay. So one thing was a relief that came with tears. What else? Well, how do you feel after you've cried? Arlene? It's a spiritual cleansing. Anybody else have any thoughts, Shelley? Okay, and then people come to you to comfort you. So it can be a community kind of a behavior. Okay, so what I looked at in this story in the Bible was the crying that went on. This is a very tearful story today. Lots and lots of crying. But I want to ask you first, who was the first person in the Torah to cry? Ever, yeah. Okay, we have one answer, Jacob. Esau, still didn't get the right answer. Well, I don't remember Adam crying. Yeah, but he was able to blame that on somebody. Look at page 127 in your Chumash. I think the word cry in that respect was a loud call, other than a tearful cry. 127, that would be chapter 23, verse 1 in Genesis. So it's verse 2. Verse 2, our first crier in the Torah. Was who? Abraham. It tells us, in the land of Canaan, Abraham proceeded to mourn for Sarah and to bewail her. So he was our first crier. If you know any Hebrew and you want to look at that Hebrew word, it says lispod. That's the Hebrew word that was translated as bewail. And some of you may have heard another word that's similar that we associate with a funeral. A hesped. Did you ever hear the rabbi talk about a hesped? What do you think the English translation of that is? Eulogy. A eulogy is a hesped, and there's the same word that Abraham used when he cried for his wife Sarah. So he was the very first. Page 158 gives us the second crier. Esau, verse 38. 34. So Esau cried, and why did Esau? Why did Esau cry? Yeah, he wanted a blessing, and he cried, and he carried on, and he said to his father, "You only have one, and why did you give it to somebody else?" And so it really affected him, and he cried. And let's move to verse 38. Yeah, that's it. And notice that it says he wept aloud. So you can imagine his emotion for that. Page 203. It's 33 verse 4, the boys grew up, they parted ways, and then they came back together. And look at verse 4. Somebody want to read that?
Esau ran to greet him, he embraced him, and falling on his neck, he kissed him, and they wept.
What kind of tears were they? Joy? Relief? Could it be anxiety? They got together for the first time after bad feelings. So interestingly, notice that he fell on his neck. Interesting expression. Okay, let's move along a little bit to page 282, 232. Yeah, no, same word. Same word. Page 232. That would be Genesis 37, verse 35. This is Jacob. The circumstances were he learned that Joseph had been put in the pit. Love this verse. Can we read this in English? Verse 35.
All his sons and daughters sought to comfort him. He refused to be comforted, saying, "No, I will go down mourning to my son in Sheol, and his father who failed me."
What do you think I like best about this verse? Well, it's in the very beginning. All his sons and daughters. First time we heard that there was anybody beside Dinah. That's another subject for another Dvar Torah. The rabbis didn't let that slip by. Okay, page 261. That would be 4224. 261. Verse 24. This is Joseph. He turned away from them and wept. Another interesting comment. He needed to weep in private. He turned away, the them here is his brothers. So he had to weep in private. Page 267. Verse 30. With that, Joseph hurried out, for he was overcome with feeling toward his brother and was on the verge of tears. He went into a room and wept there. This is Joseph, the great leader of Egypt, did not want to be seen crying. So he left his place to go to a private place to cry. Okay, that's very, very right, that he didn't want to give a forecast of the story. Yeah. 276. So we've hit the part now where we're going to start to read the Torah. So over the course of a few Torah portions, Joseph's doing a lot of crying. 276, verse 2, on the top of the page. He sent all the people out of the room, and he said, so there was no one else about when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. His sobs were so loud that the Egyptians could hear him, and so the news reached Pharaoh's palace. So now we have a volume issue, a volume level of tears and crying that we haven't seen before. Page 277, verse 14. We don't even have to turn a page for that one. When he embraced his brother Benjamin around his neck, we've got that neck thing again, and wept. And then what was Benjamin's reaction? He too wept, and he too was on his neck. Okay. So we have verse 29. I think that's on the following page. I'm sorry, it's on page 283. 283. Verse 29. Joseph ordered his chariot and went to Goshen to meet his father Israel. He presented himself to him and embraced him around the neck, and he wept on his neck for a good while. Apparently, Jewish men do cry. Page 306. Verse 1 in chapter 50. A reader for that. First verse in chapter 50.
Joseph rolled himself upon his father's face and wept over him and kissed him.
Okay. So, and then it's followed by orders to embalm his father. So this is another issue of mourning, weeping for mourning and loss. Page 309. Verse 17. So at the very end of that verse, and Joseph was in tears as they spoke to him. So he is crying once again. It tells us at the beginning of the verse the guilt of his brothers that treated him so harshly. And as they spoke to him, he wept. Okay. So another question. Who cries in the Bible? In the Bible, who cries in our Torah? Men. It was men who cried. You would expect women were the criers. Okay. Who, now, this was limited to the Torah, so in the rest of the Bible, who do you think was the biggest crier of all? You're right. Arlene is right. King David cried more than anyone else in the whole Tanakh. Sherry says for good reason. Yeah, he did have a lot of problems in his life. But he mostly brought them on. Yeah. I just want to give equal time to the women. I want to share, especially with the men, that the Talmud tells us that God counts the tears of women. So that was an admonition, go home and be nice to your wife, because God counts the tears of women. We also have some stories in the Talmud about women's tears. Usually they end with the death of someone. So beware of women's tears in our tradition. Lots and lots of artwork has been done in the 15th, 16th, 1700s. This is a major theme in artwork, but in those years, although we had some great artists, none of them were, I don't think any of them were Jewish, but most of the artwork was church art. And it's very interesting because now you can actually Google this and see the great paintings in the great museums, and you can see what the portrayal of the characters looks like. Very, very interesting. Most of them were fairly Zoftic in those days. There were black people, particularly the Midianites to whom Joseph was sold, are portrayed in a lot of art as being black. So I would recommend that if you get a chance, it's fun to see, because that artwork is just as much of a commentary as the commentaries that we have in writing. This is the understanding of what people had in those days, and it goes to all of the stories in the Bible. So that's another source of information that's interesting to us. I just also want to share one last thought with you, and that is, how did they break the news to Jacob that Joseph was alive? Yes, there was a child whose name was Sarah. She was a granddaughter, and according to the Midrash, she was gifted musically, and the brothers asked her to play a melody and to gently tell Jacob that Joseph was still alive. And so it says she played 2 or 3 times, and he was overjoyed with what he heard, and he was calm about it, and as a good gesture to Sarah, the interesting part of her life was that she seemingly never died. And she appears in many midrashim in our history. She's always alive, and in fact, it wasn't until about the 17th century the Jews of Iran decided that she died in a fire in one of their synagogues. So that's kind of interesting, and I have a question for you. Why do you think Joseph cried? What were the reasons Joseph would have had to cry? He certainly had sadness and happiness. What do you think his sadness was? Okay. There's the direction I'm thinking of going, the fear. What was Joseph afraid of that he had to cry so much? Okay. But when he reunites with his brothers, what caused him fear? Jan? One reason is he didn't trust his brothers. But a second, more major reason is... He was relieved. So he was also deceptive to his brothers. He strung them along for a bit before he shared who he was. And during that time, Joseph, one of the reasons that upset Joseph was perhaps he might lead to the death of his father in grief. It was Judah who said it would kill his father, right? Not to know about Benjamin or not to see Benjamin, and if anything happened to Benjamin. So for me, I think that's Joseph's biggest reason for crying so much. He feared that he might do something that could cause the death of his father. Okay, so I understand it took a whole committee to roll the Torah to the right place. So, oh, you found it in the Tikkun and you didn't roll the scroll. Oh, I misunderstood. I thought I was replaced by a committee. Okay, so I think, unless anybody has anything else to talk about or ask or discuss, I think it's time to read this very same story in the Torah.
We figured that because we're at the last parsha, this is kind of like just rolling to Maftir, so we leave it to the pro to do.
All right, I'm going to stay here.
You go up to there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to get out of the way.
Are you reading the first one?
but it's not rolled yet.
Okay.
I'll roll it in a second.
We're going to start on page 277 at, you see, which is verse 8.
Cantor told me you would be able to do that.
What that?
Cantor said you'd be able to do that.
Last week. Last week,
We all set?
We're all set.
ויעזור בגין ושלח אחסים בו ונאמר אמן, הכל ולהן ותראו כבוד לתורה. תעמוד ישראל בת מרים, ובלבל הכהן, ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו, והייתם הדבקים ונראה עליכם חיים כולכם היום.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bar karbanu mikol ha'amim v'natalanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
Noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
V'ata, amen, v'ata, lo atem shlachtem, ha'iti hena, ki ha'Elohim, v'yishmeni la'av, u'leparo, u'le'adam l'chol beito, u'moshel, v'chol eretz Mitzrayim, maharu, ועלו אל אבי, ואמרתם אליו, כה אמר בנך יוסף, שמעני אלוהים, לאדון לכל מצרים, רדה אלי אל תעמוד. וישבת בארץ גושן, והייתי קרוב אלי, אתה ובנך ובני בנך, בצאנך ובקרך, וכל אשר לך. וחיככתי אותך שם, כי ועוד 5 שנים רעב, פן תברש, אתה וביתך וכל אשר לך, והנה עיניכם רואות, ועיני אחי בנימין, כפי המדבר עליכם, והגדתם לאבי את כל כבודי במצרים, ואת כל אשר ראיתם. ומיהרתם והורדתם את אבי הנה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא שמו.
נותן התורה.
Amen. From the daughter of a Kohen to the wife of a Kohen. Ta'amod Shifra Bat Fishel V'Naam Sheni.
It's like you do this every day. Baruch Hu Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Shmo.
Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayipol Atzvarav Binyamin Achiv, Vayiv Uvinyamin Bacha Atzvarav, Vayinashek Lechol Echav, Vayivka Lehem, V'acharechein Dibru Echav ito, V'hakol Nishma, Beit Paro Lemor, Bahu Achi Yosef, Vayitav B'nei Paro, Uve'nei Avadav, Vayomer Paro El Yosef, Emor El Achecha, Zot Asu, Ta'anu Et Be'irchem, Ulechuvo Arza Kenan, Ukechu Et Avichem, V'et Batechem Uvo Elai, V'et Nalachem Et Tov Ha'aretz Mitzrayim, Vayochlu Et Chelev Ha'aretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah
Baruch
Adonai
Shmo.
noten haTorah.
Amen.
So if Mitch is with us, Mitch Gerson, that was Mitch Gerson's aliyah, and he unfortunately had some rather quick eye surgery this week and wasn't able to read. So Mitch, we're thinking of you.
And for the third aliyah, I'd like to call up Eric in honor of his very excellent first shachari. Yeah.
Page 278, verse 19.
Ya'amod Yitzchak Tzvi Ruvain ben Natan v'Rachel Shlishi.
Baruch Hu Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ve'ata tzivaita zod asu k'chulachem me'eretz mihitraim agalo v'tapechem v'linchechem umsatem et avichem uvitem ve'enchem al tachos al klechem ki tuv kol eretz mitraim lachem hu vayasuchen b'nei Yisrael vayitain lahem Yosef agavot al pi Pharaoh Vayitain lahem sedar laderech, Luhuam natan la'ish chalifot simalot, Uvin yamim natan shalosh may od kesef, Chamesh chalifot simalot, Uavi simalot, Uavi shalak kizot asara chamorim, Noseim mituv mitraim, Ve'eser atono noso bar valech emumazon L'aviv laderech Vaishalach et echa vayeluchu Vayomer alehem al tirgezuhu baderech.
Who's our next reader?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natav v'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Noten haTorah.
Amen.
I know you wanted Bishop Rapp.
The fourth aliyah is our Yurtzeit aliyah today. I'd like to call on Sherry, who's observing Yurtzeit for her father, Paul Ehrlich, and Jerry, who has Yurtzeit for his son, Larry Weiner. Ya'amdu Ero ben Lebish v'chaya Sarah bat Pesach v'Rachel, what she said, Reve'i. Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai habarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chavanu mikol ha'olim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'ya'alu mimitzrayim, v'yavo eretz Canaan, al Yaakov avihem, v'yagidu lo lemor, od Yosef chai, v'kihu Moshel bechol Eretz Mitzrayim, Vayafak libo kilo he'emin lahem, Vayidabru elav ekol divrei Yosef asher diber alehem, V'yor et ha'agalot asher sholach Yosef lasedoto, v'tehi ruach Yaakov avihem, v'yomer Yisrael rav od Yosef beni chai elcha ere'enu b'terem amut.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natav v'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Noten haTorah.
We don't have the chords in here, right? We don't have any chords here. No. Okay. Misha Berach, for those who are dear to us and near to us. So, of course, please keep Mitch in your thoughts. Misha Berach Avotenu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah hu yivarech v'yirapeh et hacholim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem Lahachazikam L'Refuatam V'yishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf V'toch Sha'ar Cholei HaCholim V'chazek Et Yidei HaOskim B'tzorcheihem Shabbat Hi Milizok Refuah Krova Lavo Ashta Ba'agola V'zman Kariv Yimru Amen.
For this fifth Leah, I'll be calling up Evan for his bar mitzvah anniversary. Ya'amod Yosef ben Sima Hamishi.
Baruch et Adonai Hambara.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam Ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambara Le'olam Ba'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim Zenatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai
Baruch B'Shmo.
Notin HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayisa Yisrael b'chol asher lo vayavo be'era shava vayisbechu zevachim v'yohei aviv Yitzchak vayomer Elohim Yisrael b'mar'ot halayla vayomer Yaakov vayomer hineni vayomer Anochi ha'el Elohei avicha el tira Mardea mitraima ki goy gado asimcha shaham Anochi erech imach mitraima Anochi ahawakam Allah v'yosef yashi yado al einecha Vayakom Yaakov mi Be'er Shava Vayisu B'nei Yisrael et Yaakov Avihem V'tapam v'nisehem Ba'agalot asher Shalach Paro L'asher ito Vayikhu miknehem et Rechusham Asher Rakshu Be'eretz Canaan Vayavohu Mitraima Yaakov Zarko Itoho Banav Unei Vanav Ito Benotav Uvno Banav V'chol Zaro Hevi Ito Mitraima.
That's okay. I have a different blessing.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'Elokeinu Baruch Ata
Baruch
Adonai
B'Shmo.
Notin HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. So, first time back to read, and it's a great event.
Yep.
And how are you feeling today?
Good.
Better, worse, the same?
I mean, I've already done it, I just have to do it again.
So, the nerves aren't there today, right? Sort of. A big party tonight, right? Okay, so I have a special blessing for you. This is called Hakarat HaTov, a blessing for joyous occasions. I'm going to make you do a little work, because you have to make the blessing. So it begins with those familiar words, and I'll move over here because I think you know them already. Those familiar words.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Okay, now you could repeat after me. Hatov v'hamitiv.
Hatov v'hamitiv.
Mitiv, right. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who is good and bestows goodness. And now the congregation is going to answer. No, not exactly. Also, words that you probably know. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki liolam chasdo. Offer thanks to Adonai, for God is good, and God's love endures forever. And we're excited to be able to share this special occasion with you. Amen. Okay, so now you get to read it again, right?
Yitgadal v'yitgadal shemei rabba Yamadi v'rachimutei v'yamlech ma'afumutei
In this thing? No page in here, right?
While you're doing that, I'll call you up.
Oh.
Ta'amod chaysara bat zebed vasham aftir hazach.
Okay, let me just give him his spot. Right there. Does that look familiar to you? That's where you're going to read. Vayomru. Okay. That's your spot. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barak le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
noten ha'torah.
Amen. Amen.
Vayamru eheitanu nimsahin ve'enei Adoni v'chainu avadim lefaro ba'asem ota Yosef lechol ad hayom hazeh al admat Mitzrayim lefaro lechomesh rak admat hakohanim levatam lo haita lefaro Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim be'eretz Goshen Vaye'achazu vayifru vayirbu me'od.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
Rotin HaTorah.
Amen. Mishaberak from the Gabayim to all who are here, all who are online, all who participated. Mishaberak Avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, v'yivarek et kol ele she'elu lechavod hamakom, likvod haTorah, likvod haShabbat, v'et kol ele sheniknesu netilah, v'tkar ze HaKadosh Baruch Hu, yishmereichem v'yatzileichem im kol tzorah v'tzucha, ומכל נגע ומחלה וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם עם כל ישראל אחיכם ונאמר אמן.
May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who ascended the bema to honor the place of God's presence, to honor the Torah and to honor the Shabbat, and all those who entered the synagogue for prayer. For this may the Holy One guard them and save them from all trouble or distress, afflictions and illness. May God send blessing and success in all work of their hands, with all Israel, their brothers and sisters. And together we say,
Amen. All rise for the lifting and wrapping of the Torah. Ya'amod Shlomo Yaakov ben Tzvi v'Tzipora Magbiha Ta'amod Rachel bat Shalom u'Malcha Hagolelet.
So I'm back again, folks. Time for the Haftarah. It's Ezekiel, my all-time favorite prophet. He did everything God told him to do. He ate a scroll. He did it all. What page is the Haftarah? It's back at my seat somewhere, Fran. Light 291? Okay. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo v'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayihi dvar Adonai elai lemor v'ata ben adam kach lecha etz echad וכתוב עליו ליהודה ולבני ישראל חבריו ולקח עץ אחד וכתוב עליו Yosef et Ephraim, v'chol Beit Yisrael chavirav, v'karov otam, echad el echad le'etz echad, v'hayu lachadim biyadecha, v'chasher yomru elecha, b'nei amcha lemor, halo tagid lanu ma'elelach, daber Eloheihem, k'amar Adonai Elohim, hinei ani lokeach et eitz Yosef asher biyad Ephraim v'shivtei Yisrael chavirav v'natati otam elav et eitz Yehuda v'yasitem li eitz echad v'hayu echad biyadi v'hayu ha'etzim asher tichtov Eleihem v'yadecha li'einehem v'daber Eleihem ko'amar Adonai Elohim hinei ani lokeach et b'nei Yisrael mibin hagoyim asher halchu sham v'kabatzti otam misaviv v'heveti otam el admatam v'yasiti otam l'goy echad ba'aretz b'harei Yisrael u'melech echad yiyeh lechuchem l'melech v'lo yiyeh od lishnei goyim v'lo yechatzur od lishnei hamalachot od v'lo yitam'u od b'gilguleihem v'shikoteihem uv'chol pishehem v'hoshati otam mikol moshvotechem asher chatuv ahem v'tiharti otam v'hayu lila'am v'ani ehyeh lachem le'Elohim v'yavadi David melech aleichem v'roeh echad yiyeh lechulam u'mishpata yelechu v'chukota yishmoru v'yasu otam v'yashvu al ha'eretz asher natati li'avdi li'Yaakov asher yashvu avotechem v'yashvu eleha hema uvneihem uvnei adolam v'David avdi nasi lahem li'olam v'zacharti lahem brit shalom ubrit olam yiyeh otam unetatim v'hirbeti otam v'natati et mikdashi b'tocham l'olam v'haya mishkani aleihem v'hayiti lahem le'Elohim v'hema yuli la'am v'yad'u hagoyim ki ani Adonai mekadesh et Yisrael v'hayot mikdashi v'tocham le'olam. Not done yet. Got to do that long blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, ha'medaber u'makayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. V'ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'ne'emanim devarecha v'davarecha ad midvarecha achor lo yashuv rekam ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman ata baruch ata Adonai ha'el ha'ne'eman b'chol devarav Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu v'lalu v'nefesh toshia bimhira b'yameinu Baruch atah Adonai Misamech Tzion uvaneha Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu b'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha uv'malchut beit David mishichecha b'mehera yavo v'yagel libeinu Al kis'o lo yeshev zar v'lo yinchalu od achirim et kevodo ki v'shem kodshecha nishbat halo shelo yichben nero leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Magen David Al haTorah v'al havodah v'al hanaviim v'al yom haShabbat hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod l'tifaret ahakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mavarchim otach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kochai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Baruch Tieh, and now I'm done. I still left something for somebody else.
Ask and you shall receive.
We have to start on piece 332 first.
Yeah, we have to start.
Prayer for Israel. Adonai Eloheinu, Sor Yisrael, Barek Medinat Yisrael, V'hagei Alecha. We ask
Your blessings, O God, for the state of Israel, for the land of Israel, and for the people of Israel. Bless those who defend the land and protect its people. Bless its leaders with wisdom, courage, and dedication. May they be resolute in the face of challenge and unwavering in the pursuit of justice and peace. May Israel be a beacon of hope for the oppressed, a source of inspiration for all free. Fulfill in our day the ancient promise, Zion shall be redeemed through justice, and its inhabitants righteousness. Amen.
340.
Yahalalu et Shem Adonai, ki nishkav shemo levado, Ado al haaretz v'shamayim, vayaren keren li'amo, tehila lechal chasidav, livnei Yisrael amto. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Or David, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod shemu.
Shobos, Havulan Nonai Kavod Shemo, Ishtakavun Ladonai Behadrat Kodesh, Kol Zoyim, Avod Harim, Adonai El Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Ba'akoa, Kol Adonai Ehadar, Kol Adonai Shaber Azrazim, V'shaber Adonai et Azrai Kadvanan. Kol Adonai Yoseish, Kol Adonai Yakil Midbar, Yakil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Yahalel Ayolot. Adonai lemabu yashav vayeshev Adonai melech leolam Adonai oz li'amo yitain Adonai yevarech et amo.
Page 346.
Page.
Mini Musa. Page 362. That's why the words are missing. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Mekadesh Shavi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbeu V'yitzganu Metufu V'cha, Yismechu V'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo d'kidashtahu Shabbat, Chemdat yamim oto karecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'koreh, Oneg Shabbat Yismechu B'malachutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat V'korei Oneg Shabbat Zecha L'maaseh V'reishit Shabbat Zecha L'maaseh V'reishit Shabbat. And we're going to, I gotta find a page. 400, Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemakeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemakeinu, Michmoshienu, No Del Eloheinu, No Del Avotenu, No Del Lemakenu, No Del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makenu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Makenu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shikteru, Avotenu, Lifonecha, Ekotoret Hasami, Yada da da da, 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 yada da da da. Please rise for the Eleno on page 402. Aleinu l'shabayat lahadon hakol la'tegedulav seher breshit shelo wasana kigoye haratzot velo samanuk mishpachot hadama shelo sam hakenu kahem v'goharaleinu kekol Mishtachavim u'motim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim ima'al u'shli natizo V'gavei meromi Hu Eloheinu en od Emet makenu efet sulato Kakatu b'torato V'yadat chayom V'hashem v'ta'el avecha Ki Adonai hu Elohim B'shamayim ima'al V'yal ha'aretz mitachot ein od Kimachut shel chilil made ativ lo chakavo kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar v'chaya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh O Shema, O Shema Echad, O Shema Echad.
Those observing your sites this past week: Irving Feldbaum, husband of Shirley Feldbaum; Faye Parkin, grandmother of Robbie Betesh; Benjamin Skolnick, grandfather of Nadine Meyerson; quadruplet children, son of Vivian Spector; Marvin Katz, father of Beth Katz; Morton Katz, father of Saul Katz; Phyllis Kerman, mother of David Cohen; Joseph Kyman, grandfather of Julia Hirsch Gordon; Frances Becker, mother of Jonathan Becker; Fanny Gottesman, mother of Jerry Gottesman; Silly Solarski, mother of Robert Solarski; Phyllis Berman, mother of Robert Berman; Melvin Levine, father of Robert Levine; Richard Levy, father of Phyllis Schwartz; Miriam Littman, mother of Ira Littman; Aaron Nasilski, father of Esther Fine; Jean Packman, mother of Mark Packman; Joseph Schwartz, father of Ira Schwartz; Larry Weiner, brother of Daniel Weiner; Larry Weiner, son of Jerry Weiner; Avram Lipson, father of Terry Marks; Samuel Rabinowitz, father of Joyce Lader; Bertha Gingold, mother of Martin Gingold; Herbert Lipson, cousin of Larry Burstein; Rose Marcus, aunt of Phyllis Halpern; Howard Most, father of Alan Most; Bluma Meyerson, grandmother of Nadine Meyerson; Boris Weinstein, father of Morris Weinstein; Morris Zaritsky, father of Ron Zaritsky; Benjamin Burstein, sister-in-law of Larry Burstein; Roselle Pashko, aunt of Bruce Pashko; Hilda Walder, grandmother of Gary Titleman. Is there anyone I left out? I don't have it. Paul, father of Sherry Javier. I do not have, like, the past year. I don't know if you have.
I'll just share that we have two recent losses. One is, Sarah Nimon, and she was a former lifetime member of Ohev, and we also lost, I understand, the past president, Freddie Witzko.
Okay, for all those that are saying Mourner's Kaddish, please rise. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah v'yamla divrach Yerute v'yamlich machute b'chayechon u'vyomechon uv'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Olame Almaya Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Roman V'yit Naseh V'yit Adar V'yit Aleh V'yit Allah Shmei Dekudashah Brechu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Amiran, V'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May their memories always be for a blessing. Okay, I guess I am doing announcements. I'm not Eileen Shine, so do not expect much. First of all, I want to wish Mazel Tov, Yasher Koach to Evan. Ken. This is why I never do this. To Shep, to Mike, Jan, wherever he is, Fran, Idel. Who did I miss? I said Mike. Oh, Shelley. I'm sorry. Again. You all did a terrific job, and thank you very much for participating. Greatly appreciate it. I guess I'm speaking on behalf of the officers and the board of directors. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom and a secular Happy New Year. I'm not going to get too carried away with this. Just services Sunday morning, 8:30 on Zoom. What? Yes, Zoom only. Likewise, the Daily Minyan Monday through Thursday, 7 o'clock, Zoom only. At least through part of January. I'm not sure when it's going to end, but we will have Zoom only at 6 p.m. also for Friday night services. And then Saturday, hopefully, weather permitting, we're here. What else do I have to tell you? Okay,
Sisterhood is having a bingo.
okay, but first, before the bingo, and then I'll let you speak.
Bingo.
No disrespect. Mahjong, Tuesday at 12 p.m., and Canasta on Thursday at 1 p.m. And now Iris has a very important announcement to make.
Sisterhood is having 2 virtual bingos.
That was next on my page, actually. But no, please, you can do much. You can do much better than I on this. See, virtual bingo January 16th and February 2nd, at least according to this. Okay, and if you go to your O Happenings, you can get all that information. What's that? Yes, and that was next. See, there's no need for me to get up and do this. The Descendants are coming. Ohev Players, directed by Michael Schwartz. Make sure you bring your children and grandchildren because it's really for kids. Performance will be on Thursday evening, February 16th. I promised myself I'd only do January, but Saturday evening, February 18th, as well as 2 daytime shows, each on Sunday the 19th and Monday the 20th. So there's plenty of opportunity to see the show. Inclusion, COVID, Shabbat, the Shabbat Saturday is February 11th, 2000. Why am I reading 2023? Because we'll keep writing 2022 on our checks. On February 12th, Sanctifying the Stutter. I know this was mentioned last night during services, how I embrace my speech disorder as a Jewish cantor. So that's February 12th. And that should be a very interesting session. And then on March 7th, Hello Darkness, My Old Friend, an evening with Dr. Sanford, who is blind, and there's a discussion of that. Adult Education, Janie's Woman Studies Group meets the third Wednesday of every month. Next session, Wednesday, January. Thank you.
Not just me, it's me, and I'm going to talk about who are the mothers of the Matthew children.
What's that? I'm sorry. You're leading the next, yeah.
Who are the mothers of the Matthew children?
Oh, wow. Okay, and I think I've taken up enough of your time. Again, thanks so much for being here. I greatly appreciate and participating. It's great to see everyone, and Happy New Year. Frank, we're yours.
I'm starting New Year's early.
David, I don't know.
We're,
We have to do it now because it's 12 o'clock, I won't be able to.
not me either. Page 412 for Adonalam. Adonalam asher balach b'terem kol yitzir nihra v'yet na'asa b'chefsa kol azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kiklota kol Levado yimuch nora v'hu haya v'hu hova v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echa v'yein sheni l'ham shilo l'haf bihira v'li reshit v'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'ham yisra v'hu eli B'chai go'ali, b'tzor hebli, b'yetzara, v'hu nisi umanosli, v'nat kosi, v'yom ekra, v'yahado, avki ruchi, v'yeti shan, v'ya'ira, v'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo iram. Please rise. Alkein baruch Adonai et yom hashabbat v'kadashehu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei peri hagafen. Shabbat